Hi everyone, I'm Heidi van der Walt. I'm a board member of the Global Sustainable Tourism Council, and I will speak to you today about responsible tourism. So you might ask, what is responsible tourism? Well, it's pretty simple actually. It is for everyone in tourism, the guest house owner, the restaurateur, the museum, the visitor information office, and the tourist, to take responsibility for how tourism affects our natural environment, cultural resources, local people, and the local economy. They have to understand what the effects are, and they have to be responsible in what they do. But what does that mean in practical terms? So it could mean that a guest house looks at how it uses electricity and makes some changes. Maybe implementing solar geysers or changing its light bulbs. It could be a restaurant looking at what it does with food waste. Do all the vegetable peels and fruit peels just go into a common bin with the paper and the glass? Or does it go into some kind of composter, compost heap or worm farm or something like that? It means the visitor information center not just printing out lots and lots of paper on a single side, but rather printing both sides and 2 pages on a side. But it also means the tourist choosing differently. So when they decide to come to a place, deciding to choose the hotel or guest house that shows that they are being responsible. And instead of perhaps using a rented car, rather using public transport like the excellent MyCity system. Or if they do use a rented car, rather choose the one that shows that they reduce the amount of water when they wash their cars. So it is about responsible action ultimately. So many people often ask, what is the difference between sustainable tourism and responsible tourism? Again, it's not that difficult. If you think about it this way, there's a destination and there's a journey or a road. The destination is sustainable tourism, and it is a picture where everything is perfect. It is where tourism protects our natural resources, where our cultural resources are protected, where all hotels have solar geysers or heat pumps, where all tourists choose just the best type of establishment. So that's the goal or the destination that we want to move towards. Responsible tourism is the journey. So it's taking responsible actions along every step of the way so that we can reach the destination of sustainable tourism. You may be wondering how South Africa compares with other international destinations when it comes to responsible tourism. We're fortunate to live in a country that actually does great stuff around sustainable tourism. For one, our national policy for tourism has responsible tourism as a foundation. Our new Tourism Act will have it as a foundation too. We have a specific strategy for responsible tourism. And we have many certified tourism businesses, or businesses that show that they are sustainable or that they act responsible. But if we start comparing ourselves, we could do better. For example, United Kingdom has more than 3,000 certified tourism businesses. We have maybe 350. So we actually still have a lot of work to do on educating our domestic tourists about choosing responsibly when they're traveling. Plus, if you look at many of our hotels and restaurants and museums, it's very difficult for people with some kind of disability, whether they are in a wheelchair, whether they're blind, or whether they can't hear, to actually visit those places. So there, we're also not faring that well. But I think in the bigger scheme of things, South Africa can be proud about the progress that it's made thus far. But not to forget, we still have work to do. You may be wondering whether you've made the right choice about studying tourism. And I think you have. For me, it's an incredibly exciting industry. It is a very important part of our economy. But more importantly, one day when you're part of it and you participate in being responsible and running a responsible tourism business, you have the chance to make a difference to the world and the future of the world and the future for our children. So in a nutshell, that is responsible tourism, the difference between responsible and sustainable tourism, and how we're faring as a country. Thank you that I could talk to you today about this very important topic, and I wish you well for your futures in tourism.